Are you some kind of radical?
What's wrong? Why not shoot? Your opponent is just a schoolboy. Or have you finally realized the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed?
What's happening here?
I, Lelouch V. Britannia, command you. Now all of you, die!
Happily, Your Highness! Fire!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Anime Casuals. This is Michael, and I am talking about Hatena Illusion. Hatena Illusion is a comedy slash slice of life all about the wonders of magic. And our main boy over here, Makoto, and our main girl over here, Hatena, and kind of their developing relationship and understanding each other. So the overall synopsis of this anime is Makoto over here, guy with cool hat. Although, look at that hat, it looks really big on his head now.
Who you calling Penny?
Makoto here in episode 1 is going to Hatena's house and basically going to request of her dad to teach him all about magic. And her dad is like a really well-known stage magician whose partner is her mom, and together they make this amazing magical pair. And that's like a really brief intro into how this starts. Well, then we get into the comedy side of things, and in episode 1, the two of them meet again after not seeing each other since they were kids, because they were childhood friends. And almost immediately they have this like wonderful bond. They're like acting just like they were and, vibing. And that's when her maid, who kind of like the maid in Kaguya Love is War, is her like friend, goes to school with her and also helps her out in terms of relationships. Her maid Emma goes, you keep calling him a prince a lot. You do know he's a boy, right? And she goes, no, he's been a girl since, I guess she's been a girl since I've known her as kids. And Emma goes, no, let me grab your hands. And she grabs her hands and she reaches over to Makoto's chest and she's like, just feel. And then Makoto's like, and Hatena goes, there's nothing there. And you get this like really funny moment where she kind of freaks out, runs out of the room because she's super embarrassed. And that kind of starts the initial trigger for the relationship where where Makoto's kind of like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I'm angry. I'm angry at you. Oh, but I like you. But I'm angry at you. But we should get along. And you kind of discover a few things about their childhood. They made a promise and all these really cool things where Makoto's just like, well, I just want to know you, Dad. And she's kind of like, well, I like you, but, you're my prince, but I didn't know you were a boy, so this is kind of awkward now. And I love that moment so much because you kind of see, like, that this anime is going to be more about relationship building than, action and craziness, which is one of the first reasons why I'm watching this anime, because it's very relaxed in its pacing. We also see other characters in the first episode. We see Hatena's younger sister, who I think is going to, like, middle school, elementary school. You see the butler, you see Emma, who is the maid, and you kind of get a little sprinkling of these other characters on the side who become more important in the next episode. And already you see this kind of craziness going on where you start seeing actual magic. And the get-up that these two are wearing, you don't see until episode 3 where they become master thieves. Not really, but they start wanting to be master thieves because the overarching story of this whole anime is that Hata's mother, her name is Maeve, I think the last name is Satohoshi, and we learn that the Satohoshis are one of the most magical families in the whole world, and that Maeve is one of the last people who can make magical artifacts, like this staff over here with a star and like this big scarf. And we learn that a bunch of rich folks out there are after the magical artifacts so they can go through life a lot easier and, do underhanded things with said things. Now, why did I continue watching this anime after episode 1? You might have seen that on things like on certain sites that the reviews for this anime are not great. Maybe you watch Funimation and go, ooh, 4 out of 5, that's not bad. But the reviews are kind of all over the place. Why did I keep watching? Well, I kept watching because of episode 3. We had that little snippet in episode 1 about half the way through that was like, oh, this is pretty funny. Am I going to continue with this kind of slice of life comedy? Well, my answer is always yes, because I want more anime to watch. But your answer might be, well, I've got too much anime to watch, and I don't need another one on the list. Well, if you can make it to episode 3, you will definitely know if you're going to continue with this anime or not. Our first moment in episode 3 comes when we discover why he is wanting to continue magic. It's like a little 45-second moment where we see little boy Makoto and we see Hatena's dad, and basically he was invited on stage at some point going, oh, you're super cool and I want to learn magic from you. And her dad goes, you want to learn magic? Why? And he goes, I want to make everyone happy. And he's like, oh, that's perfect, because magic is for removing the sadness of others. I'm like, oh, that hits me right in the heart, because ever since I was a boy, I loved watching people do magic tricks on stage because it was really like a wonder. And, you know, there's actual magic in this, but he practices constant stage magic. In episode 1, there's a moment where Makoto actually sees a lost girl on the side, a lost child on the sidewalk. She's just crying, and he's like, oh, well, let me help you. And he takes out this baton and he spirals it in his fingers, and he like hits one end of the baton, and streamers shoot out, and then he like taps it on either one of her sides on her pockets. She puts her hand in her pockets, and there's candy. And that's part of the wonder. If you can't figure out what happened, then it's a magical moment. And he's just doing regular stage magic. And that's kind of the wonder of the whole thing, is even if you're watching a stage show, it's still magical and whimsical, and it kind of brings you back to when you were a kid and you can't figure it out. And that's why I like magic. The other moment in episode 3 is there's a magical battle between Hatena, Makoto, and her aunt. And
Lucky approved.
this is where you start to see the anime start to develop and get a little bit further away from the relationship slice of life dynamic. It does go immediately back in there, 4 and 5. But if you want a little break, this is what episode 3 is about. You see her aunt using like plant magic. You see Hatena using this magical scarf here. And you see that each magical artifact actually has a drawback to it as well. So far, what I've seen is like, well, I heat up or I get exhausted, and, you know, it just uses too much of my strength to use. Other ones, you know, make you sleepy, and, you know, a varying amount of drawbacks. And you also get to see these two, their Master Thief get-ups, which is what they're wearing right now. And the action is actually really cool, although it's only a couple minutes long, but it makes a nice break for the relationship part of this. And altogether, episode 3 really pushes the story along and helps you, you know, understand the world a little bit more and where this anime is going. Now, I've watched about to episode 7 or 8, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think you would have a lot of fun too. So let me know what you think about Hatena Illusion, whether you know, 2 thumbs up, or, you know, you're not going to watch any more episodes, because I would like to know your opinions. Otherwise, you can check us out on, we have a Twitter, and as always, stay casual.